What's up, guys? Back again with another video. It's been a while. I've been doing some things, trying to get things moving elsewhere in my life, but I want to get back into the videos now. So what is this video? I want to get straight into it. So it's the power of reframing. So just to reiterate, my channel is the average person and how they can try and improve their life and try and just improve the way they run their life like I do. Hopefully you can take some of my advice of how I get through things. I'm not perfect by any means, but this is the point of this channel, is that we're all trying to learn and grow together. But one thing I think is really important, which I've taught my partner how to do, and I think that I can try and help you understand, learn how to bring it into your lives, is the power of reframing. So what is reframing firstly? So reframing is the ability to have a perspective on something and then reframe it to more of a positive narrative. Now, an example of this would be, let's say, a good example was that I'll give you an example of my friend. He recently bought a house. He then flipped it. He made £15,000 or something like that. That's just a random figure. And he then, a couple of months down the line, got a bill for £600 council tax, and he was absolutely gutted about it. He said, "Oh, I can't believe I've done this. Can't believe I got this. Can't believe I missed it." I said, "Look, mate, try and take that into a positive light." So he could have focused on the negatives, lost £600. That's really bad. But I told him that basically, if you look at it from a different perspective, you're not 15 grand up, but if you take that £600 off the 15 grand, then you're still £14,400 up. And that's the power of reframing, is that, yeah, okay, you don't see it as maybe a little bit of a negative, but it's a learning curve. You've also learned from that experience, and you won't do that again. But also you're trying to take away, you're focusing on a negative when you've actually come out positive. Yeah, not the most positive as you thought you was, but you're still positive. And that's the main thing about reframing, is that you try and, well, you always look at for the positives in every situation. So another example would be that recently, I don't know, if you went into a personal improvement plan or something like that in work, and you can look at it and say, "Oh, I've been crap in work, this is terrible," and you could see it as a positive experience, that you've been highlighted what you're not improving on, what you're not good at, and what you need to improve on, and you can go away, smash those things, come back a much better employee, much better person, and you can put that into any aspect of your life. And that's what I want to try and teach you today. So how do you reframe? So just try and think about every situation in a positive light. Like, try and write it down if that helps, and look at the pros and cons. Write down the pros and cons. That sometimes helps some people. I naturally just do it in my head, because I try and think about the positives of any situation, especially when people talk to me about their problems. I try and explain to them how you can look at it in a positive light. You know, a lot of us, even myself, a lot of the time tend to focus on the negatives, and it's easy to kill whatever dream you're going for if you keep focusing on the negatives. And that is the power of reframing, is because you can keep on your goals and keep on track. One thing I'm trying to do at the minute is trying to lose weight. I'm quite a heavy guy, believe it or not, but I'm trying to lose weight. I'm also trying to stick to a diet. So one of the things I have done yesterday, I had a takeaway, and the first thing in my head was, "Oh, I've wrecked it now. That's it. That's the diet over. That's terrible." But like, what I did then was I sat and I thought for a moment, especially when I've slept on it. When I slept on it, look at it the next day. Sometimes I can take that day's write off and go to the next day. I looked at it the next day and I thought, yeah, I've had one little blip, but that's just one blip. And I didn't let it derail me altogether. I didn't then go out and get an ice cream. I didn't go out there and get like a dessert. I didn't go out today then, wake up, have a big fry up, and then a Burger King and things like that. I got back on my diet, and I'm just back on track. And that's the positive thing of mine of reframing, is you need to see it as not a bad thing, as, oh well, yeah, I had a little bit of a treat, but I'm still on track. And that's the power of reframing. So at first, what's going to happen? So at first it seems stupid. A lot of people say, oh, well, I'm lying to myself. Yes, you are, in a sense, but you're not, because there's so many perspectives out there. You look at every angle of a statue or every angle of a painting, and you can see different artwork coming through. And it's the same in life. You know, my perspective of a situation is different to my friend's perspective, or my partner's perspective, or my mother and father's perspective. And that's the point of reframing, is there's so many perspectives you can look at things at, and you need to find out the different ones, and the ones that are positive, because there's no point focusing on the negatives unless you're going to focus on the negatives to improve yourself. Now that's a different thing altogether. Later on then, you will find yourself more appreciative of things. So a good example of this is what I do is I live in Wales, very rainy in Wales, and also in the UK. It's also very cloudy. I always say to my partner, it's a cloudy day, and I tell you what, I say this all the time, if it's not raining, I'll say, oh, what a lovely day. And she'll look at me all confused, and she'll think to herself, what is he on about? And everyone says this to me, like, what is he talking about? Because I think to myself, what a lovely day, because you can do so much when it's not raining, as opposed to when it is raining. And you can still do stuff when it is raining, like, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of people out there go running when it's raining, they go biking when it's raining, and they do everything, they're complete and hard people, you know, if you know what I mean, like David Goggins type people, and that's great as well. I love doing stuff like that, especially hiking in the winter. Anyway, I'm getting off topic here, but what it's done is that after so long, I genuinely now do believe that when it isn't raining, it's a nice day. I don't think I did when I first started doing it, but it's helped me become more appreciative of when it is really sunny and really hot, and I think, oh, it's amazing. Whereas my friend will say to me, oh, I hate the UK, it's crap weather all the time, it's dog shit. And I'll say to him, like, oh mate, it's you know, it is what you make of it, isn't it? Like, you know, you don't have to, just because it's not a nice weather doesn't mean you can't do stuff. And that's the thing, is that we get so bogged down into these details, and that's all they are, and the details. And you need to make and mold the world around what works for you. And that's what reframing does for me, and I think it can do the same for you too. Now, what are the dangers? So there are dangers, believe it or not, of reframing. And used improperly, could I say, can really damage you in some sort of ways. And it did for me as well. So this is why I am a bit heavier as well. So what you can do when you reframe is you can make excuses for yourself, and you can remove accountability. So what I was doing was I was using food as a bit of a crutch. So I would eat food, and then I would say to myself, oh, well, you know, I've had a bit of a hard day, so I deserve it. I would say, oh, well, it's not my fault anyway. It's because I'm tired. But, you know, if I didn't go to the gym, oh, it's not my fault because I had to do work this time. But then you can also use reframing and saying that, oh, well, it is my fault because I'm in control of going to I could have gone to the gym. It's only 30 minutes, it's only an hour. And there is a bad side of it, because you can always reframe in a negative way, and you need to try and make it so that you reframe in a more positive way. And the only way you can do that is to give yourself accountability and make sure that you know that you're in the driving seat of your own life. But also there are pros of it. So it stops you focusing on the bad points, and it helps you look forward to the future. A lot of the time, we all spend time being anxious, being stressed about the future. And a good quote I heard a few weeks ago, which is true in life, is that pets don't plan for the future. Animals don't plan for the future. We're the only animals that do plan for the future, and that's where all the stress and anxiety comes from. And that's the problem, is that we're so hung up. And I have a problem with this as well, because I have a fear of missing out thing. I don't know why. As soon as I'm doing something, like when I order food, I want whatever someone else has got, or whenever I'm on Instagram, and I think a lot of people have this as well with social media, is that whenever I'm on Instagram, when it's a lovely day out, I think to myself, oh, I wish I went up that mountain. I wish I went to that beach. Oh, that. Why didn't we go there for food? My partner hates it, obviously, but what it does help you do it, and I'm getting better at this, and I think this is where it's powerful as well, is trying to look at it as if, oh well, I've had a nice time anyway, I don't care what they're doing. So reframing it in terms of look at your own life and say, I'm happy with what I've done today and I don't care about anyone else. And that's the most important thing you can do, is focus on your own life, build your own life, and reframe everything to make sure that it's positive for you. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, I'll maybe go through it again, I don't know. But yeah, I hope that was helpful today. I don't want to go on for too long, it's gone for about 10 minutes already. But yeah, reframing. Hopefully I'll be back with a few more videos going forward. See you in the next one. Peace.